What's going on, everybody? Thanks for downloading the Voice of Bedlam podcast. We're recording on April 26th, making the draft just over 48 hours away. I guess we're at 49 and a half hours Eastern time, 6:30. But thanks for downloading. We're getting all pumped for the draft, doing our mock tonight, going through the whole first round. We got a good show planned for you. Just me and John tonight. John, what's going on, man?
I don't know, man. It seems like this week is going like too fast right now, and maybe it's the sign of the time that I'm getting too old because come at the next Tuesday podcast, I'll be a 30-year-old man.
Ooh,
I know.
Ooh, that's a rough one. I mean, there's people watching us like, shut up,
man. You don't understand.
Nah, that's a big transition when that 2 turns to a 3.
Yeah, yeah, but it was definitely good times. Definitely good times, and not only that, it's a fun life.
All right, well, let's kick things off by telling you guys about Franchise. You guys should head over to joinfranchise.com. That's joinfranchise.com. Download the app on your phone, and you'll have control to a real arena football team.
That's a real team, people. Real
you can act
people.
as the GM and the coach collectively with all the other members. It'll be a lot of fun. They're doing their beta testing right now. Head over to joinfranchise.com.
Joinfranchise.com.
All right, well, I mean, we actually finally have a decent amount of news today. I mean, everything's been so dry or just draft, but with the season coming around, I mean, some teams are in they're beginning a mini camp, like the Giants, because they have a new head coach, so they get to go a week early. So those are starting to pop up and stuff like that. And I mean, you get all this leftover dump from last year with Tom Brady being back in the news.
That's 2 years old.
I know, but the Second Court of Appeals reinstated Brady's 4-game suspension.
Honestly, though, I think it's more of a moral, I guess you could say, makeup call for all the other times that they cheated and got away with it, and for their crimes to basically go unpunished. And not only that, I honestly, for me to stop, I guess you could say, whining about this situation, because I know Patriots fans are like, you're just whining. Yeah, all right. Well, listen to why, to my amendment, you put an asterisk against your Super Bowl victories. And then when people are asked, why is there an asterisk next to your championship? What's going on with that? When it's like, that was when, that was when we were using the camera and we were, taping the defenses. And Tom Brady, went out there like a champ, understanding everybody's defense. It worked.
All right, but this end of it, I mean, the NFL found him guilty.
It's wicked awesome, I tell you.
The NFL found him guilty in their own little court where Roger Goodell is judge, jury, and executioner. Now, so, then Brady took it to the feds.
But the Court of Appeals agreed with their judgment.
Well, what it really is, it's not really that they agreed with their judgment. The Court of Appeals doesn't really care if Brady deflated the footballs, and they're not saying that he did deflate the footballs. What they're saying is that as per the collective bargaining agreement that the NFLPA has with the NFL as a whole, that they signed off on having Roger Goodell be judge, jury, and executioner. Therefore, they have to live with it. And to be honest, I mean, if you sign into a contract, that's basically what they're saying. Like, you have a system in place to deal with this. So no federal judge generally wants it to get too far, or even as far as this did, because it sets a bad precedence, because if you have a collective bargaining agreement, you have something set in place to deal with something like this, and they don't really want to hear about it then. But also, I mean, and this is a little different. There's 3 judges involved in this opposed to just 1, and you got to get 2 out of 3 of them. And that's exactly what the NFL did. Now, the chief judge, he was the one who was more towards Brady's side. Yeah. But it's not, with him being the chief judge, he doesn't have like a bigger say or anything like that.
Yeah.
But he was more on Brady's side, and several of the judges came out and said that, no, it is ridiculous that Roger Goodell has that power, but the players gave him that power, therefore he can execute it. So, I mean, they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. This is really
well, yeah, because Tom Brady, kind of dragged their team's name through the mud, and also in through this process, if he was just like up for he had some parts of it. Obviously, that was founded enough to be all right. Well, yeah, your suspension was valid, and you didn't serve it, so yeah, you have to serve that still.
Now, but you saying about serving the suspension. Now, I got to bring this up because a couple weeks ago, when this thing was first really getting the ball rolling with the Second Circuit and all that, I said right around that time, Brady restructured his deal, right?
Yeah.
And I said the reason why he was doing it was because Deflategate was going to creep up again. And if he was to get suspended by him taking far less money this year, he's going to lose far less money due to the suspension. So I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but just think about it. Say Brady was originally supposed to make $5 million a year, okay? He said, no, I'm only going to make $1 million this year, so they can only take 4 game checks out of that. Took all that money, moved it in later, so he gets a considerably lower fine.
Yeah, I really don't like that, man.
But it was kind of slick, though. It was kind of slick.
It's sly, you know what I mean? But, it goes to show you that, you will, you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
There you go. All right, but without a doubt, whenever this CBA is up, this is going to be the top thing that's talked about, and the players are going to say they won't want Roger Goodell to have this power, and the NFL is going to be like, no, if you want Roger Goodell to not have this power, you need to give us something, because that's how CBAs work. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's how any negotiation works. I'm not going to give you something unless you give me something.
You agree to a contract, and then you disagree with the punishment once you get caught and handed it down.
That's what's happening
now.
That's what's happening. Yeah.
And, and for anyone that, that doesn't understand that, that's exactly what's happening in layman's terms. Like, he's just stomping his feet because he doesn't want to go to timeout.
See, now, but it also depends on how you look at it, because if Roger Goodell wanted, okay, like if it was Stickum, all right, or if
do you think Vontaze Burfict could get away with that after those illegal shots and stuff? Do you think
get away with
because remember he got for the Carolina
in the
game,
playoff,
he twisted the ankle and all, and then
the hit on Brown,
and then also in another game, they also had a couple helmet to helmet hits. So they label him kind of like a bad hitter,
okay,
the bad boy of
but
hitting.
I don't see what's the connection between
the
two.
So say that he wants to try to overturn his punishment.
Oh, okay.
Do you think he would get away with it?
Well, I mean, there's like more. I think
what if Odell Beckham Jr. and Josh Norman's fight, which round 2 and 3 are coming this year, folks.
We'll get
your tickets.
We'll get there.
Yeah, fighting around the world. That's what's gonna happen there. But honestly, there's a lot of problems with consistency in handing out these punishments, because depending on who the player is, they get a little special treatment.
Well, also, I mean,
Tom Brady is the only quarterback I know that I've seen in a live game grab a referee, tell him to throw a flag. He threw the flag and then looked to Tom Brady to announce the person who committed the foul.
Yeah.
Yes, people. I watched that heavy. And no, but honestly, it's just I know he's going to try to appeal it,
well, that's really what it can go. He can basically go for, I forget the term in this type of law, but basically a reconsideration, and he could have the whole appeal redone. He has 14 days to file that. Now, they can deny that, they could do it, he could lose again, he could win, but the next level then would be to take it to the Supreme Court, okay? And that could take a long time. And that could actually end up being where
because Tom Brady's civil rights to cheat were violated?
No, but they'll say that he could basically get a stay of execution, and since he's not found guilty yet, can he still play? They would most likely give him that, and then say it takes 2 years. Tom Brady could retire before this matter was even finished.
Well, we'll see.
Do you know what I mean?
Only time will tell what happens to this, this icon of the New England area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know
took a lot. It took a lot in me to come up with something positive there to say, guys. See,
we're gonna give John a little spotlight right here.
Oh,
I think he needs to get some things off his chest about his old friend, Josh Norman.
I know. He's got to be an old friend because the shenanigans. And the reason why I'm so boiled about the situation is because the way that he's coming out with these comments of, oh yeah, I was trying to come up with a year-long deal, for a valuation deal, I was, just holding out. No. If you were on a team that was competing in the Super Bowl the year before, you're either going to, one, go chase the money, which when you chase the money, you're gambling, right? Or do you come back to a team that brought you in, let's keep it real. Who was looking in South Coastal Carolina for their cornerbacks?
What was he, like a 5th or 6th round guy? He was pretty late pick,
Yeah.
right? Uh-huh.
So you emerged, okay? The last 2 years, you turned it up, okay? But that was the team. Without that defensive line to help you out and put that pressure, you might not have had the opportunities that you had out on that field.
And Washington doesn't have that front
So
seven.
that's why I'm saying you're going to be left out all alone, homie. I just looked at your schedule, and at least 11 to 13 games out of this season, you're going up against top-tier wide receivers, and you're going to be left on an island.
I mean, week 1, Steelers, Antonio Brown. Week 2, Dez Bryant. And then week 3, New York Giants, Odell Beckham.
Round 2, fight!
And then when you get to week, I believe it's 17, we got a round
3, fight! All right, you got to come out of the corner, and you got to dip, and you got to dodge, right? You got to dip, and you dodge.
But, I mean, who else do they got on this list? I mean, they got the
Here you
Bengals
go.
with
Here we
A.J.
go.
Green, right?
Here, we'll just run through the schedule real fast, okay? So,
John's got his handwritten notes out.
Oh, yeah, dude. I was steaming about this because he had the audacity to make certain comments about, it's like, all right, whatever, dude. But, Greg Olsen, in
Tight end.
he had a press conference yesterday that I watched on Panthers.com. And, he was saying, the statements of, like, he trusts Dave and his staff in their decisions as, because they got them to the Super Bowl. They got them to that point. You have to trust in somebody's philosophy.
They've
and
proven
job.
themselves.
Correct.
They've proven themselves.
So, and then in turn, he, reached out and he said that there's nothing but love for, Josh Norman, that he bet on himself. And, and the whole team wishes him the best. But he also mentioned that Mr. Kelvin Benjamin is back in action. So watch out for us. But honestly, here you go. Week 1, Monday Night Football, all right, against Antonio Brown. All right, dude, have fun, all right? Have fun. You might not have seen him.
He's pretty much the best in the league.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, have fun, all right? You're really going to be tested because now you're getting paid like the number one, so now you're going to get the
He
number
does
ones.
have D'Angelo Hall there. Not that D'Angelo Hall's...
He's not going to... What? You really think that's going to... No.
Well, do you think... Well, here's a question for you. Is Washington going to go left, right? Or is Washington
so
going to
he
go...
doesn't have a line to
Norman,
support him.
You stick with the best guy.
Who's got his back? Who's his safety?
I don't know.
Yeah,
off the top
exactly.
of my head. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Washington's lineup like that.
Nobody worthy. How about that? Nobody.
It's
that
not
I
Sean
think
Taylor
of.
anymore.
Nothing that I'm thinking of. Yeah, exactly. I'm not like I was like, what? I don't know who. But anywho, we go week 2. They're at home against the Cowboys, away against your boys, the Giants. Then they go against the Browns. He gets a break there, I think. He gets a break with the Browns.
Yeah, I mean everybody gets a break with the Browns.
But then he gets to go against my old boy at their home, the Ravens.
Steve Smith.
Then he goes against the Eagles. I don't think he's going to have too many problems there. Yeah, I don't really. So he gets that's break number 2. All right, if you're counting. All right, and then away against the Lions in Week 7.
See, that's a toss-up.
That's a toss-up because Golden Tate.
Golden Tate, you don't know how Matt Stafford's going to do. The whole front office is different.
Yeah.
You don't know. Megatron's not there, and when Megatron was injured, frequently
Golden
injured
Tate
2
put up
years
numbers.
ago. Yeah, Golden Tate was putting up
couple
some
years
serious
ago.
numbers, and Golden Tate was pretty good getting the job done in Seattle.
All right, so after maybe a tough matchup in Detroit, they got to go to Cincinnati.
AJ Green.
Mm-hmm.
That's another.
And then he finally gets to sit down on Week 9 and think about, dang, I should have went back home. But then it's the Vikings, Packers, Cowboys again, Cardinals,
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yep, and then Eagles, and then mark it down. Give me another drop, please. And ladies and gentlemen, Week 15, Monday Night Football brings to you the Panthers versus the Redskins.
Ooh, that's a nice little matchup right there.
So he's gonna have to go up against Kelvin.
Will he fight? Will Cam Newton rip off his helmet on right by the pylon like he did in preseason? Not preseason.
I just hope
practice,
that
whatever.
that bravado and smiles are on that team continue into this next year. Although Greg Olson, like a spoken veteran, said this is a new year. It took a philosophy of embracing each step that it takes to get to the next step, and for him to address that type of mentality, because he's like, you don't just pick up where you left off.
See, but Greg Olson is a veteran.
Yeah.
He is mature.
Exactly. That's why I said that is a veteran
Panthers
statement.
team as a whole
Pretty
may
young.
not be. Do you know what I mean?
It's varying. Yeah,
it's varying. Like he's the best guy for that on the team. Do you know what I mean?
But then Josh Norman to finish the year, Alshon Jeffrey in Week 16 against the, because he's going against the Bears, So then, and then he finishes off with round 3 of OBJ versus Norman.
Speaking of OBJ, I heard on Pro Football Talk, I heard Jerry Rice on the radio, and they were asking him about Odell Beckham and Josh Norman.
Yeah.
It was really cool hearing Jerry Rice talking about, the two young guys, and like Florio's basically asking him, do you like, is he going to be the next you? And Jerry Rice, as humble and great as he was, basically said, I don't know, but I know what he's got to do to be there. And he's got to work hard, and he's got to keep his head straight, and he can't let things like Josh Norman, he can't let people get in his head. It's also not really the first time that's happened.
Exactly.
But he's saying
because that happened in
that
LSU,
happen.
if I'm not mistaken.
And, well, it also happened with that huge
that
brawl when like 4 Giants got ejected with the Rams 2 years ago, his rookie year.
Was that the ice cooler punch?
Yeah,
incident?
that was when Preston Parker was ripping off helmets and hitting people. And
man, dude.
What's his name? The defensive end that they cut midway through the year body slammed somebody. There was defensive
WWE up in there.
Defensive Giants being on the field. Defensive Giants players got ejected from the game on that play that weren't even on the field.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So he was saying he's got to get rid of that, and
That's entertainment, people.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was good listening to him, and he was saying how Bill Walsh would never stand for that, but he thinks Odell will get through it and can't wait to see them play each other again.
Yeah, but on the other side, I just want to, reach out to Josh, and I just want to read off to you the schedule that could have been. Are you ready for it? You would have against the Broncos week 1 on the Thursday night.
Well, they
opener.
got Thomas though. They got Thomas, but no quarterback necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have a quarterback. You pretty much have an easy game going on there, but you still have to go up against a top tier wide receiver. So I give it a 1 there. All right. Then the 49ers. I was like, Then the Vikings. Then the Vikings.
Well, they got Teddy Bridgewater, Stephon Diggs. Let's see how his sophomore year goes.
So, Teddy Bridgewater moves the ball. And so I was thinking, that's number 2, And then Julio, week 4.
Ooh, that's a rough one.
Yeah.
I mean, he shut Julio down the first time, but then Julio had that circus,
oh
amazing
my
catch
God.
right in front of Norman, and they won that game then, right?
Yeah,
that was their loss.
Yeah, that was the
Woo!
loss, dude. I was salty. Let's just say I was pretty salty. Salty. I was salty. But then he goes, then it would be up against the Bucks. Then the Saints.
Oh, Bucks got Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Saints, I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah, there's
Drew
not too
Brees
much
is
to
getting
go-
old.
Yeah,
We'll get to the Saints later. We're gonna do something small in the Saints.
Then
later.
the Week 7 bye. Then coming back out of the bye against the Cardinals. Then the Rams. The Rams got
Cardinals
Tavon
fits.
Austin and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters who the quarterback in LA is going to be. There's enough talent in the wide
They're
receiver
more,
game.
and they're a heavy run game now. Also,
So they better be.
yeah.
They got one of the best running backs in the game. Anywho, so then it continues on. The Chiefs, or as I like to call them, the Chefs, googly moogly.
But they pull off some wins. Alex Smith
Yeah.
and Andy Reid, just because they can't get
Somehow.
it done in the playoffs,
Somehow.
they can put it together. The Chiefs.
Yeah, so then the Chiefs, Saints, Raiders, Amari
Up and
Cooper.
coming team, Derek Carr, or David Carr.
I put that on my list. But then, the Seahawks, I put them in the iffy category.
They're not like an offensive powerhouse.
Chargers, Redskins on Week 15, like
There
I
you
said.
go.
So, that would have been like, oh, you would have.
So is Norman going to be covering Benjamin?
Yeah, he's going to be covering him. He's going to have to.
Or
He's going to be covering Devin Funchess.
Yeah, Funchess. That would be the other guy, I guess.
And last time I checked, he's not that tall compared to those guys. Those guys are gonna just catch all over him. It's gonna look like the Julio game. And it's gonna be nothing but love. Nothing but love for the game. You chase the money, you put a gamble out. Now you have to, yeah, man. You're making enough money now. You're number one. Now prove it. Now prove it. So,
All right, well, let's take a quick second here and remind everybody to go and get the Sunday ticket for this upcoming season. You got to get that exclusively from DirecTV at 855-668-9061. That's 855-668-9061. Sunday ticket. Red Zone. I
with
love
Andrew
Red Zone.
Siciliano.
And
all
then
right?
they got their special little fantasy channels and all that. And I mean, we're not just talking football. You can get all the NHL stuff. You get the sports package. I mean, I have like Fox Sports 1 through 7,
so
NBC
you get to watch some
Sports.
UFC?
Yeah, I get every single sports channel there is. Being a Giants fan, I get the MSG network, being out of market for that, you know what I mean? So that's pretty awesome with all them Giants.
But what about my
TV shows.
cartoons? Do they got my cartoons?
Oh, well, you can get Boomerang. You can get all that stuff. You can get
So
Cartoon Network. You got 2 different Cartoon Networks. All right, that's enough about DirecTV.
So then
need
there
to
you
hit
go.
them up. 855-668-9061. And with that, Johnny Manziel has been indicted by a Texas grand jury for simple assault with bodily injury.
Yeah.
Now, this is a misdemeanor. Don't confuse this with something like aggravated assault, severe bodily injury. That would be a much different thing. No one would be hearing about this if Johnny Manziel wasn't involved in it.
Yeah.
Now, they're saying that there was possibly some kind of settlement. So I don't really know what's going to happen with that, because generally when you make a settlement, you're paying the person and you're supposed to drop it. But I mean, the state could just continue to run with it. But still, I would think in the agreement,
pick up the case.
yeah, but in the agreement, they'd be missing the victim. Do you know what I mean? So, and they could, the prosecution, the state could subpoena her, but like, no lawyer really wants someone on the stand that doesn't want to be there.
Yeah,
and then
gotcha.
she might have to give the money back. Now, I don't know any of this, but I'm just saying that's the way things would usually be done, similar
so.
to Greg Hardy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this could still, you never know what could happen with this, but he has been indicted, which means it will go to trial. But I don't know. We'll have to wait till everything unfolds. And I mean, like I said, it's a misdemeanor, so you're not really looking at anything. But this is Texas, and I think he just might get the death penalty.
Oh, poor Johnny Football. That's not the Johnny Football story I had in mind.
I don't know, man. I don't know. He just seemed like some snotty little Heisman winner, rich boy to me the whole
Yeah,
time. So.
Honestly, yeah, and not only that, like I heard some report about him being, fined and stuff and sued, I should say, for vandalizing a rental mansion or something for a party.
Yeah, him and Gordon.
Yeah.
Well, they stayed there for a month, and it
and
was
that-
just from the parties. There was, I think they said it was $20,000 in damage they were trying to seek
Yeah,
the
and
owners.
not only that, like the numerous amounts of drugs that were in present, when the person came back to the.
Oh, I didn't hear that
mansion.
part. I didn't hear that part. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a TMZ report, which
Well,
actually,
that's a real reputable source.
yo, man, they were the first people to break the news about Prince, though, and which is like, that's pretty big news, dude. Like, because I know my heart sunk, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like, and then I had to do that podcast. Then we did that podcast, and I was like, Yeah, guys, I'm doing all right. Just feeling a little down. But it stinks because he was a legend. But honestly, Johnny Football was just a dude that looked like he could have been something in the league and just proved to be just a sideshow.
It was so ridiculous when he was a rookie in preseason and they had the countdown clock. It was just like
Countdown to Johnny Football.
With Mike Mayock pleading with teams to take him on the broadcast on NFL Network.
He probably had a deal with his agent or something. It's like, buy into Johnny Football so I can buy my daughter's college education.
I believe what Mayock says, but he really annoys me at the same time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? but that's enough. That's enough about Johnny Manziel because he really annoys me.
Yeah.
Also,
you know what's also annoying? When somebody has you running in circles to nowhere. But I think you understand that now because didn't you just have a problem, looking for some,
what I did was
writing up on some stuff?
Somebody asked me to write an article about Vernon Hargreaves failing the drug test.
Okay.
And I didn't even hear anything about it, but I was like, oh, all right. And I put it off for a day. And then I can't find anything really about this, but I see an Ian Rappaport thing that says he failed the drug test at the combine and blah, 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 blah. So I write this little thing on it, and then I send it. I send it to nygiantsrush.com, and he's like, no, he didn't fail the drug test. It was a fake Twitter account and this and that.
Man.
I was like, are you serious? That's why I couldn't, that's why I wasn't hearing anything about
you
this.
Got
so
catfished.
So needless to say, I co-wrote the article that's up at nygiantsrush.com, and Vernon Hargreaves did not fail a drug test.
He did not.
So none of that was true. So you could read about how he didn't fail a drug test over at nygiantsrush.com. But let's get into something a little bit more important.
More important? What are you talking about? Bradford hasn't been important since he came out of college.
I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, but quarterbacks are important, and
quarterbacks are important. But
Philadelphia wanted Bradford to stay, and now Bradford wants out of Philly.
Well, yeah, because he's getting replaced.
Well, I mean, he's saying he wants a long-term deal. It's like, dude, you signed a front-loaded 2-year contract. You basically only had a 1-year deal to begin with. But now that with the Eagles moving up to number 2, he doesn't want to have to compete. Now, I don't really like when anybody doesn't want to compete, but let's be honest here, the deck is pretty much stacked against him. If you trade to number 2 to get your quarterback, barring him being another Johnny Manziel or Jamarcus Russell,
because right now his competition is pretty stiff.
And they got Chase Daniels, so now Bradford wants out.
Pretty decent.
Bradford wants out. Word on the street is that he's too much money. Philadelphia wants too much to let him go. Mm-hmm. So just as we were saying, now they got a guy who doesn't want to be there. It's a crowded room. There's going to be a rookie.
They need draft picks.
The backup has a longer deal than the original projected starter. And it's all getting crazy in Philadelphia again.
Well, yeah, they're trying to rebuild, and it looks like they're trying to rebuild, a winning team without setting the foundation. And
very true. That's I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
And when you're
that's not true because they're probably thinking they're setting the foundation with the number 2 overall pick, though. They're hoping, at least.
I guess so. I guess that was their
mindset.
Their mindset. But in turn, what you did was you took your veteran quarterback. I say that because I don't really
hurt his whittle feelings.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt his feelings. Even though he's literally one injury away from just being the robotic, humanoid.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
because there's so much metal in that dude right now, especially in his knees. He's like RG3. But honestly, think about it. They got messed up in the league when there was chop blocking. Think about all the injuries that are going to occur now that chop blocking is gone.
What do you mean? It's to prevent injury.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, but now,
because the quarterback's going to get killed.
Yes.
I got you. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
Instead of the defensive ends getting hurt, now the quarterbacks are getting demolished, and you can't let the pretty boys of the face of the franchise get smeared unless you're Cam Newton and and the officiating crew tells you you're not old enough to get that call.
Well, with you talking about Cam Newton getting smeared and needing to rebuild his reputation, why don't we tell you about Reputation Resolve, which is an all-in-one software that will help you build and manage your business's reputation online. It will keep you connected to your customers and give you 5-star ratings and feedback. Cam can use some of that and to better serve your customers and start growing your business's reputations today.
Solutions.reputationresolve.com.
That's solutions.reputationresolve.com. So, possible landing spots for Bradford, of course, number one, San Francisco reunite with Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly last year said he was the perfect quarterback to run his system. What do you think about that?
All right. Well, I got, and you can
51 million.
Conjure up some sounds and stuff because, this is going to sound like some voodoo potion, okay, that I'm about to drop on you people, all right? Because this was... Or maybe I'm crazy. All right.
Maybe just
but we're entering the cuckoo zone now, all right, apparently. So now this is what's going to happen. Draft day. The Denver Broncos are going to trade for Colin Kaepernick. So Colin Kaepernick and some draft picks are going over to Denver, Mile High.
Wait.
Okay.
Kaepernick and some draft picks?
Well, yeah, because there's going to be there's going to be some late round picks to compensate.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So and then you get the chance of the lifetime for Chip Kelly in a sense but he's got to sell his GM on this.
What, Paxton Lynch?
Correct. On trading Philadelphia Eagles for Sam Bradford.
Yeah,
and
I got it.
Since the Philadelphia Eagles, the Eagles need some draft picks, I see this happening, honestly. I see Colin Kaepernick doing, honestly, pretty well. And it would be scary, as a Raiders fan as well, to see Colin Kaepernick going over there because I can see him actually, rebounding really well over in Denver.
Well, I mean, yeah, that part I like. I totally
Sam
agree.
Bradford reuniting with the man that, validated him in a sense.
Sam Bradford?
Sam Bradford going over to Chip Kelly, the guy that stood up for Sam Bradford and brought him
but you're
to
talking
Philly.
About Kaepernick.
So him going to the 49ers and then Colin Kaepernick going over to Denver.
And then you think
that's to get the draft picks.
But didn't you say something about Paxton Lynch though in there?
No, not at all.
Oh, well, that's the part.
No, you mentioned the owner.
I don't know. You lost me there. But then, I could see that draft. I could see that scenario falling out. That's fine. But I didn't.
It makes the most sense to me right now because those teams are in the most need, and since the Philadelphia Eagles are in such need to get some draft picks and start rebuilding. I see them playing burn squad and saying, all right, well, you're not going to give us the money, then how about this? Give us some draft picks.
So you're saying that the Eagles are going to trade away Bradford on draft night, and Colin Kaepernick will also be traded to the Denver Broncos on draft night. So 2 quarterback trades on draft night. That's what you're thinking?
Correct.
All right. But what are these teams?
A lot of quarterback action happening in round 1.
What are these teams losing the quarterback getting in return? What do you think? So, I mean, because it's draft night, so there's picks involved. So, what is it going to take to get
Sam Bradford? Because Chip Kelly has gone on record saying that Sam Bradford is the perfect match for his system. So, given the fact that he's instating a new system, why not bring in the guy that you believed in to begin with? So. That was my I guess you could say reasoning beyond for making that type of decision and that type of hypothesis.
Yeah, but I mean, so let's see. We're saying that Sam Bradford is going to go to the 49ers. So the 49ers are going to they got to absorb his contract, and what are they going to give?
They got to give up Colin Kaepernick and get some decent picks to give to Philadelphia in order to get Sam Bradford.
Okay, all right. I think that's. I
know. This is I should have created a pie chart over here, so that I could be
but what are we talking about? Number 2 draft pick?
Like a round 2. I'm saying valuable pick. Maybe definitely not a round 1, but a round 2, a round 2.
And maybe around 4 next year?
Maybe a round 2 next year or something. I don't know.
All right, okay. But with all this draft talk, we're going to unveil our mock drafts, all right? So now we're not going to stay on this for too long. We could do 4 shows, all right? Now, this is the first mock draft I've really ever thrown my hat in there on. But I think I got some nice little things.
All right, how about this? Why don't we? All right, we go. You know, I'll be the a-hole in a sense. See, I PG'd it up, boys and girls.
You're welcome, iTunes.
You're welcome. Do not give us explicit ever. Anywho, you know, if I see something on your mock, just to make it move a little bit quicker, I'm going to interject and say, nah, that's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah. All right. I got you. All right. So, first pick. I got the Cal kid going to the new California team. Jared Goff, quarterback.
Can't disagree.
That's the general consensus.
Yeah.
All right. And then, so that leaves the Eagles with Carson Wentz,
correct.
North Dakota State. So this is where things really get a little bit more predicted. I think the best defensive player in the draft would be Jalen Ramsey. And he's going to be the top defensive player off the board coming out of Florida State, going to the Chargers. He was the first corner to start at Florida State in week 1 since Deion Primetime Sanders. You're going to be hearing that with his name a lot. He is saying he's the best player in the draft. He is saying he's the best player in the draft.
Well, you know what? I'm going to pleasantly this time interject and say that DeForest Buckner is going off to the Chargers.
All right, well, I think DeForest Buckner is the second best defender in the game, so you know, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
Because especially since the emergence of the passing game in their division, they're going to have to put a pressure on
this particular mock. I got DeForest Buckner not going too many picks later, like 4 picks later, to the Niners. Chargers are at 3, Cowboys 4, Jags 5.
Yeah, see
6.
See
so
that?
At 7th, I have DeForest Buckner, defensive end. So that's what I'm saying. I think those are the 2 best defensive players in there, but I think Joey Bosa is more attractive to the Ravens, and I think the Ravens are going to scoop him up at 6. Leaving the Niners with DeForest Buckner, which is by no means a bad thing.
Once again, I got to interject.
He's just got that whole Ohio State thing with him.
I got to interject a little bit more. I have Jalen Ramsey going to the Cowboys because they need some secondary help.
At 4. Okay, so
all right,
so you have Buckner going at 3.
Correct.
Ramsey going at 4.
4.
Who do you got at 5? I got Tunsil going to the Jags.
I got Bosa.
See, I don't think but I don't think the Jags are going to pass up on a lineman. We were talking about Laramie Tunsil as the premier player in the draft. The only reason why the quarterbacks are going in front of him is because people want to reach for him. So, I mean, I got him falling to 5. He could also possibly go with the Chargers at 3, but I don't think he will.
Don't feel too bad because I have him being I want this to be a hashtag, people. All right. So give it to me. Blindside Part 2. He's going to go to the Ravens.
All right.
Yeah. You guys, for all the ladies that didn't know anything about football, and she's like, but I watched The Blind Side. That's Sandra Bullock.
But, the Jags, I really think they're going to try and shore up that line. But, I mean, like I said, I got Bosa at the Ravens, Buckner at the Niners, Miles Jack. Now, I'm torn on this one. I like Miles Jack a lot.
I have him going to your boys, though.
He might fall that far. I also have a linebacker going to the Giants in Leonard Floyd, offensive outside linebacker at Georgia. But I'm torn. I mean, I would like it if Jack went there, nervous about the knee, but I also know that the Giants haven't drafted a linebacker since Carl Banks in the first round in 1984.
1984.
But I mean, when you look at this list, I mean, Bosa's going to be gone. You know, I'm saying Buckner's going to be gone. So I don't devalue the linebacker spot, but Jerry Reese does. But I hope they grab one of the linebackers, and then I got Hargraves going with Tampa.
Honestly, I have a lot of where you kind of scolded me for taking Laramie Tunsil a little bit lower. But, I have a lot of offensive linemen going off the board to the following teams because
like Stanley.
I got Ronnie Stanley, and then I got Jack Conklin going to the Browns.
Yeah, see, in mine,
because they need to start focusing.
I didn't have Stanley going all the way down to the Titans. See, he's been jumping up and down. I mean, I don't know. The linemen, they've been going in and out, and I think at the same time, sometimes almost people view them as a safer pick, but I think tackles sometimes get overvalued just like quarterbacks do. Because your tackle is your next most important position, and I think people reach for tackles just like they reach for quarterbacks because it's a cornerstone of the team and the franchise. And if you sign a tackle in the first round, you think he's going to be on your team as an anchor player for 10 years, which would be great. But I think that caused them to sometimes be over-evaluated.
Yeah, but but I'm also glad to see that you agreed with me that Vernon Hargreaves falls to Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, that seems they could really use. I mean, and Hargraves is a great player. I would love if he fell to the next pick to the Giants. I'd be totally fine with that, by the way. But with the Bears, got the first defensive tackle off the board. Now, see, the thing that's different about this defensive tackle, I mean, is such a deep position in this draft. I think a lot of teams might wait because they think they could get a value pick in the second, third round, you know what I mean? But Sean Robinson out of Alabama, he's the key guy to that Alabama Crimson Tide, and I got him going to the Bears.
That's where I'll interject because at the 14th pick, they got Robert Nikomdiche.
Oh, and yeah, but okay, so you're going defensive tackle, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So,
well, that's the, yeah, I mean, he is viewed to the Raiders. But I mean, but if he goes to the Raiders, do you think maybe the Bears, needing a defensive tackle, would steal him away from the Raiders? Because even though I have them taking a Sean Robinson, if they want to go with your boy, do you know what I mean? Yeah. They can steal him away from the Raiders.
I have Leonard Floyd, the linebacker.
That's who I have with the Giants, yeah.
Georgia. That's why, because I honestly don't see you.
So we're in the same, we're in the same range.
We're same in the range. That's why when I was looking at your list, I was like, you know what, man? Get out of my head.
All right, but
I had, but I had some other thoughts, just and I'm glad that they're somewhat original. But there's similarity. We're
gonna talk about the Saints a little bit later as part of our 4-minute hut. But the Saints really need to rebuild that defense. So I got them going with Clemson's
like the
Kevin Dodd.
Aints.
Yes, the Aints. Kevin Dodd, defensive end out of Clemson. Clementine. Out of Clementine.
Oh, man, we dropped the ball. Yeah, he dropped the ball, ladies and gentlemen. It's okay, but you know what? You picked the ball up and you took it.
Now, I'm looking at a corner here. Looking at a corner who I've said is one of my favorite players in this draft, and that's Eli Apple, Ohio State corner. Now, I got him going to the Dolphins. So, I mean, Eli Apple, to be honest,
I'm going 25 to the Steelers.
Yeah, see, he's all over the place. Paul Dottino of the Giants, one of the reporters for the Giants, he thinks the Giants might take him at 10. People got him going to the Colts. Do you know what I mean? He's just flying all over the place. Yeah, but I see in him, I like, and I would grab him up. I think the Finns are going to steal him.
There's so much line work that needs to be established for so many teams that are ahead of them and there's so few good pickings.
Exactly.
And
you really don't know what you're going to get at that NFL level.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So that transition, you're hoping for the best based off of that college performance, but it's slim pickings on the defensive line and offensive line in this draft.
Oh, I think I skipped over the Cowboys back at pick 4. I got Ezekiel Elliott. We're not going to get into that. We're way past it, but I don't think I said that. Ezekiel Elliott at pick 4. Who'd you have at the Cowboys?
The Cowgirls are, they're going to finally, address their defensive problems and get Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, okay. All right. You did say that. Yeah, you said that, but I didn't say
because that's where I flipped because you said that.
That's why I think I forgot to say his name.
And I said when you were talking
about all right, with the Raiders, now you had them taking the
Robert Nikomdiche.
Oh, the defensive tackle. All right, see, I got him going defensive too, inside linebacker, Alabama. All right, so that's Reggie Ragland. So I could see. So we're both, you know what I mean.
We're somewhat in the same ballpark talking about the same people. Like honestly though, I did my picks based off of a lot of different picks because I was like, all right, well, let me see what everybody else is saying. And everybody's saying a lot of different things right now. And I think some people are just trying to throw in like screwballs. But I actually spent some time thinking about this one, and this is, but I would almost be surprised if I like we did like a poll or something, and I got like 80% right.
I'm gonna see. Well, we're definitely gonna keep our list, and we're gonna see if we get anything right. We're not gonna record on Thursday, the night of the draft. We're gonna record on Friday, so we'll be able to recap the first round. We're gonna see if we got anything right. Oh yeah, why not? We'll see if we got anything right.
Yeah. Since we've been doing it on Thursdays, I have work Friday morning, so it's that's hard to do. But you know what?
And Sean hasn't been back here slugging him back.
Exactly. So you know what? We'll have to have a bear.
All right, but at the Titans, with the Titans, I got Ronnie Stanley going there, who seems to be the second offensive tackle. Everybody thinks he is pro ready and could be a left tackle, has nice technique. So I got him going over with the Titans, trying to protect their new asset. Taylor Decker. All right. Where did I have
and you
Decker
have them
going?
Colts.
Yeah, I have them Colts. Yes. So
But,
we're both.
and I
we're
have
looking
them,
at the
and
same
I
position.
have the Colts going to grabbing Shaq Lawson.
See now, Decker and Stanley. A lot of people have been flip flopping them.
Yeah.
All off season. So it's funny that we got him. We got him flip flop. Yeah.
Taylor Decker has that national championship ring.
Yes,
so,
he does.
That right there, shouldn't really give you too much to worry about, because if he has enough to protect your quarterback to the championship, then he might have enough to
who else
to the next level.
Has a championship ring, and that's another defensive tackle, Jaron Reed. Got him going with Josh Norman and the Skins. Danny Lee going to pick before that outside linebacker out of Ohio State.
That would be a
Jets.
little bit of help for him on that defensive
And
line.
you had Nkemdiche going a lot earlier out of Mississippi tackle. I got him going to the Bills. Now, that's a lot of defensive tackles.
I got Kevin Dodd. So, same track, but different person.
A lot of defensive tackles, and there's going to be a lot of defensive
ends,
tackles
defensive tackles.
Yeah, the defensive line is definitely the strong suit of this draft, or at least it predicts to be.
Now, towards the end here, I have going.
Well, I want to talk about the next 3 picks, but what do you got?
What do I got for which teams now?
Well, for Texans, Viking, and Bengals. Colin talked me into all 3 of these teams taking a wide receiver.
Texans, they're going.
Okay.
They're going.
So what's your order though? Well, I got Corey Coleman, Texans.
I agree.
Okay, all right. What about Will Fuller, Bengals?
Josh Doxson.
Oh, you got Doxson. See, I got
TCU.
I got
and then I have Laquan Treadwell going to the Vikings.
Yeah, so do I. So we were different on the Bengals. So we both got Corey Coleman and Laquan Treadwell going to the Vikings. Then I got Will Fuller, and you got who do you got?
Josh Doxson.
Doxson. All right. So we'll see how that unfolds. I want to see what Colin's thought is on that. We'll have to hit him up.
Yeah, at the towards the end here though, I see you got the Cards taking Paxton Lynch.
That's something we got to talk about. See, now I wouldn't do that.
I have them taking William Jackson III out of Houston.
I wouldn't
he's going to be, but you have him going to the
Steelers.
Chefs.
Yeah,
no, the Chefs. I think, right? Yeah, William Jackson.
Oh, yeah,
you're
right.
Chefs,
You're right. Okay. So, but see, I think the Cards are going to take. So, I think they're going to take Lynch. I'm just kind of rolling the dice on this one. I wouldn't do it. I think everybody's reaching for a quarterback, and I think that they're going to jump up and grab him.
Is falling off.
Exactly.
Because
he's more falling apart. He's stepped up his game lately, but he's falling apart physically.
You know what? Here's your web search question of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Find out the graduating class of Carson Palmer, because he was the last positive product to come out of USC.
Okay, so yeah.
Mark
Sanchez.
Because Matt Lionheart came after, right, and then butt fumble.
Well, Sanchez went to back-to-back championship games though with the Jets. Everybody forgets about that. That's a pretty nice accomplishment for as bad as he is now.
Yeah, but if you can't finish, I'm just saying, you can't finish.
But just to recap, go back a little bit here, got Sheldon Rankins, another defensive tackle out of Louisville, going to the Seahawks. As I said in the last podcast, Seahawks is just going to keep that defense rolling. That's their formula to win.
Germain Ifedi, offensive guard out of Texas A&M.
Yeah, I was thinking about putting him with the Broncos, but I was like, nah. I went with the free safety out of Clemson. And
I got them grabbing Chris Jones, defensive tackle out of Mississippi State.
All right, so
and I got my Carolina Panthers grabbing Emmanuel Ogbah, defensive end out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, I left him out of the first round, but I wouldn't argue with that. I got him sticking defense also. The Miami cornerback Burns. So I know we jumped around, didn't really stay in order though, but I figured it would be more interesting doing it that way.
Yeah,
but we're gonna keep it up. I'm gonna see if I can post our list to the site somehow. I have to think about it, how I would accomplish it. But we'll put up a new tab over there.
I'll copy my stuff and I'll send it over to you, and you can put it in your format over here.
Yeah, and we'll get it up
there,
so you guys can look it out. Maybe we'll tweet it out, and we're gonna look at it on Friday. So we'll also tweet it out at hashtag VOBpod. You guys can be hitting us up there all week. Hit me up at
send
Andrew
questions
Bedlam.
too, guys.
Yeah,
send questions, and not only that. While you're on there searching VOB Pod, why don't you start maybe looking for cheap tickets to their next, night out. Maybe you want to go see a show. Maybe,
Maybe you want to go see some of this playoff hockey.
Playoff hockey's going on.
Maybe you want to take your girl to a
It's not
Broadway
local
play.
anymore for the people around here because Philly just got knocked out. But
Well,
and
that's what I think of Philly.
and the Rangers is gone. So all the areas around this area are done. So you got Pittsburgh, going. So you got to travel. So
but you guys got to hit up Ticket Software LLC at 866-853-3454. That's 866-853-3454 for any concert ticket, any football ticket, 83,000 worldwide events with 125% money back guarantee, some of the best security in the business.
So what do you got to lose?
All right, but why don't we kick it over here and let's jump in to this week's
4-Minute Hut.
The what?
4-Minute Hut.
That's right. The 4-Minute Hut topic discussion signature segment. Tonight, it's about GM's jobs that we think depend on this draft. People that really got to knock it out the park. Some GMs that are on the hot seat. Some GMs that maybe should have been gone a little bit longer ago. A little bit early.
Maybe.
All right. First one on this list. The way I see it, if you're a Giants fan, as of lately, you're either a Coughlin fan or you're a Reese fan. And me, I'm a Coughlin fan. Jerry Reese, New York Giants senior VP and general manager. In Reese's first 9 seasons as a head of the franchise, the Giants won both of their Super Bowls, and he had a 77-67 regular season record. 8-1 postseason mark. During his tenure with the Giants, he won 2 NFC East championships, earned 3 postseason berths, finished 500 or better in 6 consecutive seasons. Now, that's how it started. In my opinion, though, he didn't really build those Super Bowl teams. Ernie, of course, he did. Ernie, of course, his thumbprints were more all over that than Jerry Reese's was. All right? So, a lot of Big Blue fans have that opinion, and they also criticize Reese for the team really suffering the past 3 seasons, having an untalented roster with people like Ruben Randall trying to be featured players, devaluing the linebacker spot, always letting our premier nose tackle go, never looking at the tight end, never really, not that he never cared about the safety. He did bring in Antrell Roll, but then he hasn't replaced him. All right, and then also he's got people drafted like Brandon Mosley, Matt Dodge, Tyler Sash, Travis Beckham. The list goes on and on and on. A lot of fans don't like that Ryan Nassib pick from a couple years ago when they traded up in the 4th round to get him. The only reason he hasn't been fired is due to him striking gold with Odell Beckham. All right, that bought him some time. And to be honest, Odell Beckham probably bought Coughlin an extra year also.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Reese is going to need a phenomenal draft and a winning record to keep his job for 2017.
Being a third party and not honestly, I guess you can say, because some of my family supports the Giants. And speaking of,
so some of your family is a little bit smarter than you.
No, some of them decided to drink some of that infected water from the Passaic River.
Shots fired.
But honestly, I can't hate. You guys got some Super Bowls with Eli, but what I was getting at, today's my sister's birthday. She's a Giants fan.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday there, Caitlin. So, but honestly, out of respect for her birthday and to the host here, I'm gonna hold my tongue on some negative comments. But honestly, there's not too much negative to say about you guys. Now that you fell off a little bit, but when you guys are usually counted out, you win. And that was under Coughlin. And the only question I have is, can them Giants do that again?
Well, I mean, I hope so. But in the past 3 years, including with Coughlin, which I hate to say, the Giants have been 19-29.
Yeah, because he
Now,
didn't strike gold this time
yeah,
when his
even-
job was on the line. Because every
even-
time he strikes
yeah,
gold
yeah,
when
it
his
was
job
the
is on the line, it's
Super
like,
Bowl.
Tom Coughlin, here's your pink slip. It's at the end of the season if you don't get us a championship. And
And
it's
then
like,
they
oh,
beat the
here,
Patriots.
how about a Super Bowl championship?
But I mean, even Mara has criticized Jerry publicly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's really come at him. He is definitely on the hot seat. The Giants don't make rash decisions, and this would by no means be a rash decision.
You know, we're all adults here. We all work. You know, we understand the big head.
That'd
in
be
the
John
office
Mara.
that, you know, so, and then there's the person that, you know, tries to be the person that outshines the big head, so that it's like, yeah, well, when the big head's gone, you know, I can be the big head. See,
That's probably the GM of every
you know,
team, though.
But honestly, you just said it. You know, his track record shows that he has made some very questionable calls. Meaning,
the Will Beatty contract,
you know,
Jeff Schwartz contract.
so if your only saving grace was one thing, because I was waiting for you to be like, oh yeah, Reese brought in
Beckham and
Beckham.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
That's it?
It seems like Pugh could be promising. A lot of people knock him though, because now Pugh's a guard, and they say they wasted a first round pick on a guard. I don't really agree. Eric Flowers did not perform all that well according to Pro Football Focus. He was like, I believe he was like the bottom rated tackle in a couple categories. But I mean, I think Flowers will be all right. Weston Richburg seems to be doing his job there at the center position, but these aren't glory boys. These aren't, and you know what? The Giants have had no running attack, so you really got to question them 3 guys that I named, because that's their job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
And also, he's completely ignored the right side of the line, put people in like Marshall Newhouse. Now, Marshall Newhouse performed better than a lot of people thought he would, but still, you got to take care of that right side of the line. That's the power side of the line. You got Andre Williams for a reason.
Yeah, you know, honestly, you know, going into next season, this is going to be, you know, it seems like his Coughlin year.
Yes, I agree. Another person who I think is on the hot seat is Trent Baalke, 49ers general manager. Now, he's been with the NFL for 18 seasons.
And that's just because you chose to bring Chip Kelly into your organization, all right? Come on.
But, I mean, yeah, he's really putting it all on the line, bringing in Chip Kelly. It's kind of like, just like, you know, well, let's just try this. Let's just roll the dice. Maybe this will save
see what
my
happens
job.
there.
But Trent Baalke is in his 11th year with the Niners and his 5th as general manager. All right. During his tenure, the Niners have appeared in 3 consecutive NFC championship games, 2011, 2012, and 2013. They also were in the Super Bowl. What Super Bowl?
That is
I
with,
should have typed out the number.
yeah. Well,
XLVII. What is that?
that's
47.
47. Wow.
They were in Super Bowl 47.
No,
Sorry,
no.
that took us a while.
I didn't know. I was looking
got-
over at some.
they
I was
got
like,
a,
I was trying to find where you were.
They got
I
a
was
5-3
I thought of something
postseason
punny.
record.
I thought of something punny when you were.
No,
looking.
Roman numerals are
So,
stupid. I'm sorry.
You know, basically, Trent Baalke, right?
Yes.
Is that how you say it? He's giving it a good old college try.
Yeah, but I mean, he
with,
was having
Chip
a lot
Kelly.
of success. He was the executive of the year in 2011.
Yeah.
And
Well, that was the year that Colin Kaepernick came out.
he
and,
got that
you
in his
know,
first
right?
year as GM.
Yeah, so there we go. You know,
But you got to, but Alex Smith really did all the work.
he did all the
And
work,
that's
but then
kind
Colin Kaepernick, you know, tried to finish it off.
But I mean, he did a good job, but not in the Super Bowl. Well, I mean, even the Super Bowl was a great game.
It was
you know,
pretty good. Oh yeah, except for them Ravens were just playing hungry.
But I mean, with him, also the contracts he gave to Kaepernick, at first people thought he was a genius. They were like, wow, this is really cap friendly. Now, this whole situation has been mismanaged. People think he's getting paid too much. They can't unload him for some reason. And also, I mean, the whole Harbaugh situation.
Yeah.
So you got Alex Smith and the Harbaugh situation. Now, a lot of that has to deal with a lot more of the owners. Do you know what I mean? And that's usually a recipe for disaster. I see Mr. Poor Trent Baalke kind of being the fall guy. I mean, Jim Tom Sula was a one and done. Jim Tom Sula was a one and done. I mean, There was a lot of drama with Harbaugh, and like I said, Kelly's just his last gamble. And then you had all those players retiring, young players. Now, yeah, some of it was because of injury. Some people just wanted to be out. So then you bring over the most controversial coach in God knows how long. People calling him racist, people saying they don't want to play for him. So you bring him in, then, with all these players and all this chaos going on between you, ownership, and the players. I think this might be Trent Baalke's last days also, and I really think it's going to be his last days if he goes and reaches
honestly
for Paxton Lynch.
Yeah, it's going to be the end. This is going to be the year because the 49ers are, they've fallen from grace,
very far. Very far.
And
even the last year with Harbaugh.
And it's kind of funny because, coming right behind them coattails are the Cowboys. Everybody that's a Cowboys fan.
The early 90s matchups,
the first dynasty.
What about the Steelers and the Raiders?
Exactly. And let's keep it real. Let's look at the books and realize that you haven't won a championship or a playoff game.
1990 or a playoff
1997.
Game. Yeah, that's the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's the big blowout against. It was the fourth Super Bowl with the Bills. Actually, the Bills' fourth Super Bowl.
So you blew your load on that one, and you haven't seen it since. So, and you're supposed to be America's team, so get real.
Cut that crap.
Get out
Only
here.
people in Texas believe that. I'm sorry.
But with that being said, the 49ers are falling right behind them, and they're, it seems like they've been in rebuilding mode for a long time. And then it looked like when Colin Kaepernick came in that, towards the end of the season,
found the answer.
They found the answer
and
to
for
their
the following
problem.
couple seasons, they went to 3 consecutive championship
True.
games.
Yeah.
And now they got to rebuild this whole team. And you know what? If you need to rebuild your credit, you guys need to hit up 844-255-6458. Cure a Debt will fix all of your credit problems. Totally consolidate everything. Get your money in line so you can get that new house, that new car, or maybe that new guitar. Do you know what I'm saying? Whatever you need to finance, you guys got to call up Cure a Debt at 844-255-6458. Now we're going to close.
Can I play this guitar?
We're going to close
Rest
up
in peace.
the 4-minute hut and pretty much the show.
4-minute hut.
Talking about Mickey Loomis and the Saints. All right, now I got Mickey Loomis on the hot seat here. I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. I mean, like Drew Brees. He's entering his contract year. He's going to be a free agent. He wanted to redo his deal. He's coming out and saying to try and get Josh Norman. I think that's just a signal right there. Do you know what I mean? They really did want Josh Norman. They do need to rebuild that defense, but they're not sure about Drew Brees. Now, Drew Brees will be 38, so who could blame them? But at the same time, it just doesn't smell right. I also think it was a mistake retaining Sean Payton. All right, keeping him and Brees together. Well, I mean, one of them, they need the matchup isn't working anymore. Peyton and Brees is just not working anymore. They tried to fix that defense last year and traded off Jimmy Graham. And not that Jimmy Graham did anything with the Seahawks, but they traded off one of their biggest assets outside of Drew Brees.
Yeah.
All right?
But, they just they fell back into what the franchise originally was with Archie Manning
and the Aints, paper bag heads.
The paper bag heads.
And I mean, it's getting uglier and uglier.
And unfortunately, fortunately, they had their shining moment after a natural disaster.
And Mickey Loomis was there for that.
And
I think more.
I think that's why Sean Payton still has a job.
Absolutely.
That's why Mickey Loomis has,
yes.
because those guys were there at ground zero in a sense for them. Where the whole community was devastated, and they stayed and they provide
similar to Coughlin and the Giants.
And that
9/11.
Superdome was home for many people. So, yeah, he gets a little bit of a pass in a sense.
And then you had
and a lot of respect, at least from the fans.
I think even with that Super Bowl win and all that, I think I think his days are numbered. It doesn't help. I mean, he's also the GM for the Pelicans in the NBA.
His seat's hot.
Yeah,
His seat's hot.
he's also the GM.
I'll
And then
admit
there's
that.
all these legal issues going on with the Benson family. Everybody's trying to sue Tom Benson, saying he has diminished mental what is that? Capacity after he announced plans to remove them from control. So they're trying to sue him and steal his business from him. I don't think anybody in that organization's job is really all that secure.
No.
I mean, Peyton did just sign a new contract, but you don't even know who's really going to be running this team. And I'm sorry. I mean, you can't talk too much crap on Balky running 2 franchises. I can't imagine that.
How many
football and basketball share part of the season.
How many defensive coordinators are they going to go through and try to fix this defensive system?
Yeah, he's never done anything to the defense. I mean, he's brought people in. He brought in Rob Ryan.
I like Rob Ryan's defensive schemes because it.
Oh, now he's over with the
sometimes.
Bills and his brother.
Yeah,
Rexy boy.
Yeah, it works. They work. You know, he knows him and his brother both. They know football. And with that, you know, that combination, especially the family, you know, being brothers, I know that they're gonna have some issues over there in Buffalo.
Yep, definitely.
Especially if he continues to Rob, I should say, continues his
Rob
shenanigans, shenanigans that he did down there in the Big Easy, because he was known to be out there getting hammered.
I like Rob Ryan, but I mean, now he's hanging out with Rex. Do you know what I mean? Are these guys on a path to destruction now that they're the brothers are on the same team now?
Yeah, it's either that or, you know,
is Rex Ryan going to gain all this weight again or something?
I don't know. I don't think so. If anything, you might see Rob losing some weight because, you know, with the brothers, you know, popping at him like, hey, Robbie, you're costing too much. You take up 2 bus seats on the ride in.
So he's being the devil on his shoulder.
Correct,
basically.
in a sense, yeah. But they didn't have success with him. You know, you mentioned that they got rid of Jimmy Graham. They got an aging Drew Brees, and
the team's just been underperforming, and there's never been a defense
because there's not too many players that you can like really look at and be like, wow, you know, that's who I would hang my hat on.
And a talent like striving team. That's the general manager's fault.
Yeah, and especially in a division that was, you know, kind of weak for a while and is starting to emerge.
With the Panthers now.
The Panthers, you know, not only
maybe
that,
the Bucks.
Like the Bucks now, definitely. And, you know, for a while it was Hot Atlanta, but now I like to call them Not Atlanta.
Yeah, Matty Ice.
Matty Ice is definitely like the wonderful nickname, Natty Ice, because he is nasty and is not the good nasty. Let's just put it that way. It's skunky nasty.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess that's pretty much going to take us on out of here for today. Now,
you can't stay here, so get down.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. But where you could head...
I was trying to make up my own, man.
Where you could head... is back here on Friday for some post-draft analysis. Well, post-round 1, really. Okay, so we're going to be recapping round 1. We're going to be recapping our mock draft, see if we did anything good. Also, I'm going to be publishing an article based off this 4-Minute Hut we were just going over at sportsrants.com. Go over there and check that out.
All right, guys, this is what we're going to do, all right? And now I'm going to, and this is impromptu, okay? For every draft pick that we get wrong, okay?
Probably most of them.
All right. No, between the group, so far we only have, our 2 mocks right now, okay? The person who, in the group that doesn't get close enough, you got to take a shot for every wrong one. This might get.
We gotta keep the show a little bit more family oriented. Maybe off camera. We'll do that.
Camera,
and then we'll tell them about it.
Because what? There's podcasts out there, betting sandwiches and dinner dates and things. Come on, guys.
I think taking shots of some Jim Beam might be in a little different.
Well,
direction.
I don't know if I would be. Going with the beam. I think, now that I'm older, especially 30,
a little subliminal
so
advertising.
Old, yeah, right.
Pay me, Jim Beam.
Yeah, give him some Jim Beam, okay?
No, I want the company Jim Beam to pay me.
Yeah, Jim Beam. So yeah, send us some product. Apparently, this guy likes Jim Beam.
Yes, if Jim Beam sends us a free bottle, this will then happen. There you go.
And then we'll be a little more adult oriented because then we'll have an alcoholic sponsor. But just like every other metal band,
the NFL does it.
Exactly. So exactly. You get Budweiser themes everywhere. So why not have a Jim Beam or
No, dude. All right. There would be so much alcohol consumed. I'm gonna get like every single pick wrong. Like we'd end up taking like 17 or 22 shots apiece.
It'd be kind of a hey, welcome guys to the Foods of Bedlam podcast.
Yeah, exactly. There's plenty of f-bombs.
Let me just tell you,
right.
the round one of the draft is done.
There you
done.
go.
And then there you go.
All right, guys. So make sure, regardless, we're gonna have a blast. Also, don't we get to punch you in the testicular region if something doesn't happen? What
Yes.
did you put? It was who goes first in the draft, and who did you say? Goff's got to go first, and then you're safe.
Goff.
All right. Well, he's probably safe with that, but now I'm kind of hoping Wentz goes first. But come back Friday to find out, guys. We're out of here. Thanks for downloading,
And thanks for spreading the word.
check us out, iTunes, YouTube. See you guys later.